Chapter 96 Illusion Trial. At the 100,000th step. "You're here, Silas," Ragnar said, greeting the one who had just arrived. "Ragnar." Silas replied, his expression sluggish. "Oh?" Maximus, who was in the middle of telling Lilith a story, looked at them. "Do you know who that is?" Maximus whispered into Lilith's ear. "It's Silas." Lilith felt embarrassed by Maximus' closeness and nervously blushed. He was originally just an inconspicuous branch member of the Tier 9 Rusthammer family. But his crazy deeds caught the attention of the Apex Sovereign in their family. "What crazy deed?" Maximus whispered. "This?" Seeing Maximus getting more presumptuous, she just rolled her eyes in surrender. He originally had a trash tier talent, but his courage and will are out of this world. When he was 10 years old, he began spending his whole life in the time chamber like crazy. At first, it was only time dilation of 100x, but day by day, the time dilation increased. Now I've heard that he is nearing 100 years old, and the time dilation he is in is more than 1,000,000 times, Lilith said softly. "It's really crazy." Even Maximus couldn't imagine the time confusion that would happen for that crazy lifestyle. Without a strong will, one would not even know what's true and what's not. Curious, he scanned Silas's status. Silas Rusthammer, 97 years old. Tier 4 Elemental Mage. Rank 6 Divine Talent, Heaven's Reward.
Mana amplitude, 100,000x?
As Maximus looked, he was not even shocked by the mana amplitude, which would have taken at least 1,000,000 years of non-stop study. He tapped on Heaven's Reward curiously. After all, only Tier 9 talents can have a special body. Heaven's Reward, an unlimited growable special constitution. A pity of heaven as hard work is rewarded. Note, I'll master anything with enough time with no bottleneck. Amazing! Maximus's eyes lit up. This is truly an amazing constitution. The only downside is that you'll learn anything slowly, regardless of how high your talent is. It's like the Game Master locked your experience points to 1 XP regardless of level. But nonetheless, this constitution had the possibility of surpassing rank 9 talent given enough time. In the 999th step. 95th day later, 5 days before the deadline. "How far do you think our husband is?" Angeline asked as they sat down. "It should be about to finish," Irene confidently said. "By the way, what chances do you think we have to pass the 1000th illusion trial?" Luna chimed in. "Don't worry, I heard our husband has prepared trump cards for us for the 1000th trial," Erica said in a whisper, afraid that others would hear it. "Oh?" They looked at Erica in puzzlement. "He didn't tell me either, he just said that we should take the test one by one." Erica shrugged her shoulders. "Then I'll go first," Isabella said, seeing that the others were still fatigued. After all, Isabella had more experience, so she could cope with the trial better. "Then you should go." In the 100,000th step. Just as he was about to continue teasing Lilith, he noticed Isabella stepping onto the 1000th step. Earlier, after he knew that his system can directly interfere with the illusion trial, he secretly instructed Erica vaguely so as not to leave traces. Spiritual interference detected. After the system informed him, he prepared himself to join in the illusion trial. "I'll meditate for a while, Lilith," Maximus said. Lilith just nodded. In Isabella's illusion trial. In the Imperial City underground prison. In a small confinement area, a huge group of men huddled together as if waiting for the verdict. A rough man in the corner suddenly opened his eyes as if awake. "So, this is the illusion trial." "It's quite realistic," Maximus murmured. He looked at the illusion trial mission. Mission: escape the prison, kill the king. The mission was rough without any conditions. But if you think it's easy, then you would be mistaken. The king is a Tier 4 Sky Knight, and he is just a mortal. With his memory and experience, Maximus could train until he could crush that king. However, based on the system, this illusion trial seems to target the tester. He is fine, as he is just a bug in the program. He can live here peacefully until he is invincible. But Isabella will experience countless bad luck as time goes on. "First, find Isabella," Maximus murmured. This is quite easy as the system has already marked Isabella's position. Maximus began to manipulate the magic particles in the air as he cast a soul spell to hypnotize all the people around. "It's quite useful," Maximus said, looking at them as if waiting for his order. Although he had a mortal body without even a bit of mana, with his transcendent mastery, manipulating a bit of magic particle without mana is easy. Open the door, Maximus ordered. I think you should take a look at. The guard opened the door absent-mindedly. Clothes, Maximus said, looking at his prisoner clothes. After a while, a guard brought up a spare uniform. Now it's ready, Maximus thought.
Follow me,
Maximus said as he strode toward Isabella's position. In another prison, a girl was standing silently as she looked at the other prisoners lying flat. Humph, Isabella snorted. After she woke up, she was surrounded by this bunch. Fortunately, although she had a mortal body, with her fighting skills, knocking a bunch of people is not a problem. What trump card do you have, Maximus? Isabella thought as if waiting for something. As she was imagining things, a bunch of footsteps came from outside. Another one? Isabella thought that it was another bunch of people who targeted her. As Isabella positioned herself to fight, she saw the one who came out. Maximus?
Surprise?
Maximus teased.
How did you come here?
Originally, Isabella thought that it would be something that could indirectly help her in the illusion trial, but who knew Maximus came directly? Will there be any problem? No. Seeing that Maximus did not explain further, Isabella didn't ask more. Although Maximus knew that they were loyal to him, the existence of the system was better kept hidden. As for the illusion trial, giving away that he was here, the system had already fixed that. With the existence comparable to at least a Tier 10 artifact, although the system can't modify any entities beyond it, his soulbound wife's illusion trial is easily modifiable. When people outside watch Isabella's trial, all they could see was her completing the task methodically. Unfortunately, his wives couldn't obtain the trial blessing if the illusion trial mission was not completed. Otherwise, he could just let his system to terminate this illusion trial.
Let's go,
Maximus said as he took her hand. Do you know my mission? Isabella asked as they were walking. Isn't it killing the king? Maximus smiled. Fine, Isabella didn't bother more as she observed the surroundings. Isabella noticed that the people following them were absent-minded. Did you use a spell? Right. But how can you use a spell without mana? It's easy. As long as your mastery of the spell is enough, you can cast the spell with just your soul power. Oh, by the way, how do you plan to kill the king? Although Maximus can use spells, with the strength of the king, it's not enough. I'll show you why explosion is an art, Maximus grinned. Outside the underground prison, Maximus and Isabella walked out casually. As for the hypnotized guards, they were back to work as if nothing happened. By the way, help me buy these. Maximus conjured a list of materials by bending light particles using magic energy. Alright, although Isabella was puzzled about why he needed a bunch of mortal things, she still nodded. By the way, we don't have money, Maximus remembered. Why don't we rob? Isabella advised with a grin. Although they only have mortal bodies, their experience is still there, so robbing some noble or merchant should be easy. Don't be troublesome, I can use spells, remember? Certainly, Tier 0 spell is only effective against mortals. So, he can't be too unscrupulous. After a few hours of investigation, they came across their target, a suspected greedy grain merchant. These ones should have a lot of fat, Maximus said, looking at the luxurious mansion. Let's get in, Isabella said excitedly. This is her first time robbing this openly. Maximus smiled and cast a Tier 0 invisibility spell on their bodies. As they navigated the mansion, they came to a hidden safe. How do we open this? Isabella asked, looking at the massive door. Let me, Maximus cast an Tier 0 open lock spell as he pushed open the door. He could use all these spells as they were already at transcendent mastery. It's an individual spell, so it only cost him less than 100 life points each. This is another wonderful function of the life points. It can directly upgrade mastery to transcendent with enough life points. For others without enough comprehension and talent, it would be impossible even with time. Creak. As the door opened, a bunch of chests full of gold coins greeted their eyes. How rich, Isabella was shocked. Tisk, it's really greedy, Maximus muttered. You know, when he first transmigrated, he only had a few thousand gold coins as a count. However, here, there are at least 10,000 gold coins, which is too much for a merchant. With this, we can start with the plan. Chapter 97 Boom. 3 days after they stole tens of thousands of gold from the merchant. These are the last materials that you needed, Isabella handed Maximus a storage bag. Good, now we only need some strength to finish the mission, Maximus said as he took the storage bag. After all kinds of tricks are meaningless in front of overwhelming strength. It should be, Isabella said as she came to a spare room to train. The illusion trial mission needed to be done by Isabella personally, otherwise it would be considered invalid. Maximus could only do his best to assist her. Maximus went into another room to create a bomb.
Let's start.
He didn't know how to create a bomb initially, but with his system, everything is possible. Bomb creation, transcendent, max. A week later.
Finally finished.
Maximus excitedly muttered. Using a mortal body, he created a concentrated bomb with his bare hands. But this is not enough, Maximus said, looking at the huge lump of metal with a conspicuous amount of energy. Just the energy the bomb is emitting, anyone with a brain will know it's dangerous. It needs more polishing, Maximus said as he stood up. Feeling a little tired, he went to Isabella. At the dining table.
How is your progress?
Maximus asked while eating. It's not bad, I already reached Tier 1 official knight, Isabella said proudly.
Good.
It only took her a week from mortal to Tier 1 official knight, which is amazing. This is due to her experience and talent. The illusion trial can simulate anything, and talent is one of them. But the malice of the illusion is getting tougher, Isabella said with a sigh.
What happened?
Earlier when I was going out to shop, someone recognized me. Apparently, the reason I was imprisoned is because I'm a remnant of the previous dynasty.
Oh?
This should be the reason why you need to kill the current king, Maximus said after pondering. Yes, I even gathered the confidants of the previous body, ready to attack at any time, Isabella said. Then we should be more low-key, wait until you at least reach Tier 2 before we begin doing the mission, Maximus said.
All right.
A month later, in Maximus's room. Now everything is ready, Maximus looked at the small lump of metal that looked like a stone. During this month, he finally reached Tier 1 official mage, which made it easier to polish the bomb. With sufficient mana, he engraved in various rune formations, making the bomb portable and more lethal. Now it was capable of killing a Tier 4 Sky Knight 100 times over. As for the Tier 5 Lunar Knight, it was nigh impossible. A week later, in a valley hidden in the forest, Maximus looked at his wife, Isabella, working up the morale of her confidants before attacking the king. All of this was for the hidden mission after the illusion trial mission. This is like a bonus stage to get more blessings from the illusion trial. Isabella guessed that it involved managing the kingdom after killing the ruler. Now follow me for a brighter future. Isabella yelled. Yes, your majesty, the people saluted solemnly. Are you ready? Maximus said as he grabbed Isabella's waist, causing the group of people who were solemn just moments ago to feel annoyed. How dare a bastard dirty your majesty, one of the people below cursed inwardly. They came to know Maximus because he was the one who helped Isabella escape prison. Maximus was also the one who was funding them, at least that's what their majesty said. Don't be too clingy, Isabella slightly struggled in Maximus's embrace.
Oh?
You don't like me anymore? Maximus pitifully said as he hugged her further. Bastard! Isabella blushed as she cursed, seeing the people in the back looking at them with bewildered expressions. Hee. Let go, it's time to end this, Isabella finally surrendered and hurriedly said. They were in the valley hidden in the forest. When they caught the news of the king's hunting activities, they quickly set up an ambush. Here, take this when you get close to the king, Maximus said as he took out the lump of metal. Is this the weapon you said that can kill the king? Isabella looked at the lump of metal and Maximus with a puzzled expression. In these 3 months, she reached Tier 2 Great Knight. I think you should take a look at. If she was alone, she would have trained herself for a few more years until she reached Tier 4 Sky Knight to be sure. However, her husband told her that she only needed to get close to the king, so Tier 2 Great Knight strength was enough. But looking at the lump of metal in her hands, she suddenly questioned if this thing can really kill the king. Don't worry, I spent most of my time on this. Trust me, Maximus said sincerely. If you say so, Isabella trusted her husband very much, so she didn't question further. In the forest? Those rebels should be nearby, the king, Bash inwardly thought as he leisurely hunted. Hunting was merely a guise for him as he aimed to catch the rebels. As for why he even bothered with these weak rebels? Well, it was all for the treasure in the castle. Originally, he conquered this kingdom for the supposed Tier 6 inheritance. Bash came to know that the kingdom's founder was an injured Tier 6 stellar knight. This injured knight built the kingdom for the continuation of his bloodline. Originally, it was an overlord of the land, expanding vast amounts of territory. However, without a talented heir, the kingdom quickly declined with each generation. When Bash came to the kingdom, the ruler was merely a Tier 3 Earth Knight. Seeing that he was close to getting the inheritance, he quickly sought the said inheritance. But unfortunately for him, the inheritance needed the blood of a living descendant to open. When he looked for it, they were either already dead due to the chaos or had escaped. As for Isabella, she was captured by his subordinates, but before Bash came to know it, she escaped. A few miles away from the king. "We're only a few miles away, prepare for the encirclement," Isabella said as she looked through the telescope. "Yes, your majesty," the people said as they scattered. They were only here to look for the possible escape of soldiers and more importantly for merit. As for the king, it was for Isabella to handle.
"Let's go,"
Isabella said to Maximus. As the two came nearer, before the king noticed them, Maximus forcibly cast a Tier 3 spell to knock out everyone. All of them suddenly passed out, except for the king who was alert and promptly cast a barrier.
"Go,"
Maximus said, sitting down nearly fainting. Casting a spell above tier is possible as long as you have transcendent mastery and enough mana amplitude. But looking at his state, he would probably not do it lightly in the future. "You're here," King Bash said with a grin. Although he was shocked that all of his guards had been knocked out. But seeing that Maximus was exhausted and Isabella, who was charging towards him, was only a Tier 2 Great Knight, he was confident. Clang asterisk. A clash of swords ensued as Isabella clashed with the king. Originally, she was only supposed to get close and defuse the lump of metal Maximus gave her. But this unique experience of life and death was a rare opportunity.
Oh?
"It's indeed a descendant of Tier 6 Stellar Knight," Bash said, leisurely parrying the attack. "Humph," Isabella activated a forbidden technique to further boost her strength. "It's useless, obediently surrender if you still want your life," Bash said with a smile. Seeing that Isabella was such a beauty, Bash decided to let her live after using her to open the inheritance. Seeing the king's lecherous gaze, Isabella became angrier, urging the forbidden technique regardless of her life. "Enough!" Bash finally lost his patience. After all, if Isabella suddenly died due to the secret technique, then all of this would be for naught. Who knows when he would find the next previous royal descendant? Bash used his powerful blood and mana to suppress Isabella. With a slash, the sword in Isabella's hand flew out. Bash took this opportunity to bind Isabella with the magic weapon he had prepared. "Ha ha ha, the inheritance is mine," Bash joyfully said, looking at Isabella tied up. "Unfortunately, I'm still no match for a Sky Knight with my current skill," Isabella sighed, looking at her tied-up appearance. The reason she fought with the king was that she had heard about the various combat abilities of prodigies in the Arcane continent. Crossing 1 or 2 tiers was as easy as breathing for them. Like her husband easily knocking out everyone. Isabella didn't want to be a burden to her husband, so she thought of trying, but looking at her current state, she could only sigh. Taking out the lump of metal from her pocket, she clicked the button. The metal suddenly expanded as a white-like matter enveloped Isabella, and a huge explosion ensued. Boom! Mission complete. Stay/exit. Chapter 98 Apocalypse World. In Silver City, Maximus rented manor. The illusion trial of new mother is up. Max saw a notification on the virtual screen. "Hurry, let's see, Lila said as she shook Edward. Yes, Gedward just smiled and clicked the edited illusion trial of Isabella. "Ba, ba," the 3 babies in the back babbled as if saying they also wanted to watch. "Here you go," Liam, the oldest brother, positioned them carefully. In the video, they saw Isabella fighting the king, looking very domineering.
"Humph, bad guy."
Seeing that their new mother was being beaten, they clamored. As the fight got heated, Isabella was finally bound.
"Oh no."
The children held their breath as they watched the final moment. But strangely, Isabella just sighed and smiled weirdly as she took out something. Boom! A wave of sound propagated, silencing them. Although it's edited, the sound from the bomb caused an echo, nearly making them deaf.
"Wow. Awesome. Cool."
They cheered happily seeing the explosive fight. Moreover, seeing their new mother, Isabella safe and sound, after the white-like matter automatically melted made them sigh with relief. "I'll ask new mother later for one of those explosives," Lila on the side muttered, feeling the thrill of such a thing. In the 100,000th step, Maximus slowly opened his eyes. "What's wrong?" Lilith noticed something different about Maximus. Nothing, Maximus said as he pinched her cheeks. Oh, Lilith didn't delve further as she got away from his claw. After killing the king, they stayed in the illusion trial for a few more years. Maximus also took this time to bond with Isabella, making up for the past. Fortunately, there was no more malice coming from the trial, so everything went smoothly. Beside them, Ragnar and Silas looked at the two who were flirting. Hey, Ragnar, did you tell that kid about Lilith's identity? Silas asked. They were from a Tier 9 family, so more or less, they knew each other, especially because they were the most dazzling talent in their generation. I secretly told Maximus about Lilith's background, but it's not effective, Ragnar signed, worried for his little brother. Good luck to that kid passing that Amazonian, as Silas said as he shuddered, just imagining the image of Lilith's sister. In the 1000th step, Isabella slowly opened her eyes as a strange energy slowly nourished her spirit. Amazing, I completed the mission perfectly, Isabella muttered. Normally, she would take her time, but that had cost her many opportunities for hidden missions before. As seen previously, if she took her time, most of her confidants would die, making it harder to control the kingdom afterward. These imperfections would be judged by the illusion trial. With the perfect mission blessing, Isabella felt that she could go up another 10 steps directly. After she finished inspecting her changes, she looked below. I'm finished. Who is the next one? You succeeded, they looked at Isabella meaningfully. Originally, they were unconfident as they nearly failed the trial in the 999th step. But looking at Isabella still energetic like nothing happened, they wondered if this had anything to do with their husband. Then I'll come next, Luna said as she stepped up. In an apocalypse trial space. Hiss, what world is this? Luna said as she felt her aching body. Looking around, she was inside a ruined building with a bunch of undead walking around. Kill 10,000 undead, 10 Tier 1 undead elite and 1 Tier 2 undead king. Looking at the mission, Luna first felt the surrounding magic energy. No magic? Luna muttered in shock. How to finish this? Killing 10,000 undead is still possible, but for undead elite and undead king? That was impossible. I guess I should quit the trial. Luna sighed. She had already come to terms with the fact that it would be impossible to finish the trial. By quitting voluntarily, she can minimize the punishment compared to dying in the trial. Just as she was about to quit, a rustling sound came from behind. Luna subconsciously held her breath, hoping to minimize her presence. It's me? Maximus, who looked malnourished, slowly appeared. Husband! Luna whispered in shock. Shoo, Maximus warned her not to make noise. How did you come here? Luna whispered. Oh. Maximus didn't know what to say. It's okay, I understand. Seeing Maximus was reluctant to tell her, she didn't ask further. Luna was already satisfied that her husband was here. Anyway, shall we eat first? Maximus said weakly, feeling the hunger in his body. But where do we get food? Luna said, looking at the desolate place. Leave this to me, Maximus said confidently. He urged his system to scan the place for food. In the fantasy world, this was a tasteless function of the system, as his spiritual consciousness scan is more convenient and wider. But in this apocalypse-like world without magic, it works wonders. I think you should take a look at. Remember to keep your footsteps quiet, Maximus whispered. Maximus already tested on the way here that these undead are particularly sensitive to sound. As for the smell, it was not a problem as their bodies smelled almost the same as the undead. They walked for almost an hour, avoiding and distracting the undeads. For these, Maximus even purchased anti-tracking knowledge. Anti-tracking Tier 0, Transcendent, Max. Of course, this is only for ordinary zombies. For elite, Tier 1 or King, Tier 2 zombies, he can only depend on the system scanning and avoid them. In the small abandoned store. Is there really food here? Luna asked, looking at the dilapidated store. If it were not for the garbage packaging, Luna would not even know that it's a store. Just trust me, Maximus said, without saying anything, proceeding to enter. There wasn't any danger inside, so they entered smoothly. Soon, they came to a hidden compartment that looked like an air vent. After crawling for a few minutes, they came into a wide warehouse. So much, Luna muttered, looking at the complete selection of food and utensils. Based on the surroundings, it's been a few months since the outbreak of the apocalypse, so seeing these things still preserved and complete is shocking. The original entrance should be destroyed, making it hidden, Maximus concluded as he saw the entrance buried with the building beside it. Yeah, now we have enough food. How do you plan to complete the mission? Luna asked as she looked at him. Let's eat first, Maximus said as he took out some self-cooking instant food. After a few minutes, the food quickly heated. Can you tell me now? Luna asked as she ate. She was really curious, seeing how confident her husband was to complete the mission. You know, killing a Tier 1 and Tier 2 undead in their state is impossible. You should have become proficient as a melodic battle dancer, right? Yes, but I needed a qualified conductor. Without Livia, it's useless. Melodic battle dancer is one of the battle modes of the musician profession. As for the other battle mode, it's melodic battle conductor. Luna and her twin sister, Livia, have divine talent in music. After comparison, Luna is more suitable for frontal battle while Livia is the conductor. Don't worry, there is me, Maximus confidently patted his chest. Are you sure? Luna asked doubtfully. Of course, your husband is omnipotent, Maximus said, looking at his system points that bolstered his confidence. Life points, 512,432. Potential points, 24,277,888. During his ascent in the trial, he used more than 1 million life points, leaving only about 500,000 life points. First, he upgraded his music talent. Music comprehension, trash 0/1. Plus 111 potential points. Music comprehension, divine 0/10 million. Then he bought specific knowledge about the conductor, using a mortal piano for fighting undead monsters from Tier 0 to Tier 2. Conductor Symphony, Undead Edition Initial, 1/10 million. Plus 258, 334 LP equals 310 million. Conductor Symphony, Undead Edition Transcendent, Max. A few hours later. In the hidden building, Maximus sat down across a worn-out piano as Luna stood beside holding a machete. Are you sure you can play? Luna asked once more. Earlier, they rummaged through the stock of resources and found a worn-out piano, and after tinkering, it was barely playable. Don't worry, watch me conduct a symphony of killing, Maximus grinned as he stretched his hands. Music is the manipulation of sounds. Even without magic, it can affect anyone who can hear sounds. Of course, to be effective against higher opponents, you need to know precisely their minute changes. Without mana, Maximus needed more detailed information than normal. Fortunately, with Transcendent Mastery, it's quite easy. Let's start, Maximus said excitedly. Fine, Luna didn't say anything more as she jumped outside the building. Maximus had already scanned the area. There were no elite or king zombies within a few miles. Pluck asterisk. The tone vibrated at a weird frequency, catching the attention of the undeads. Thud asterisk. With another note, the undead slowly made their way to Luna. Huh? It's quite amazing, Luna muttered as she saw the zombies, like puppets, coming to her. Thump asterisk. A strange frequency coursed through Luna, to which she responded with a clever twist, making the frequency boost her strength. Tick asterisk. With another note, the frequency changed as Luna waved her machete in the air. Slash asterisk. A wave made of sound cut through the blood vessels controlling the undead, which made them freeze and fall. Amazing! What a precise melody, Luna couldn't help but praise. This sound can damage the microcapillaries of the undead precisely, which is like a miracle. Without knowing the minute details of the undead and anticipating their movement, this sound would only be a harmless play. Ting. Tick asterisk. Waves of symphony began to play as a bunch of undead came to their places like dancing puppets, with Luna harvesting them like a dancing fairy. Chapter 99 End of Trial. In the hidden storage room, Maximus and Luna were resting after killing more than 100 undead. It's exhausting, Maximus sighed as he rested. Although he seemed to be only playing the piano and assisting in the battle, it was really tiring. He was like a grand maestro guiding all their movements and tunes. Without mana, he could only use his bare soul power. You're still amazing, husband, Luna said, her eyes shining. Maximus then looked at the undead crystal core. This can be used to replenish the soul or strengthen the body, Maximus concluded as he felt the energy within. It's a pity we can't use it too much, he added. Anyway, it'll be gone after we get out of the trial, Luna said. Although the undead crystal core functions like a magic crystal, it's impure. Taking too much without restraint will turn one into an undead. Then let's rest and strengthen ourselves first, Maximus said as he hugged Luna to sleep. 20 days later. 10,000/10,000 undead. 7/10 Undead Elite. 0/1 Undead King. Only 3 Undead Elite and 1 Undead King, Luna said, panting in exhaustion. Don't worry, although I didn't advance through Tier 1, the replenishment of the Undead Crystal Core should be enough, Maximus lazily said as he sat across the dilapidated piano. Let me rest first, then attract some Undead Elites, Luna said. A few hours later. Maximus was playing the piano while Luna fought fiercely with the undead. Thump asterisk. Luna, like a perpetual machine, didn't feel tired because of the melody. The Undead Elite, on the other hand, was like a trapped beast that couldn't get close to Luna. Tick asterisk. Just as the Undead Claw was about to tear Luna to pieces, a high-pitched melody was like a sting making the undead pause. Luna, seeing the opportunity, brandished her machete as she beheaded the undead. Just as they were about to celebrate, Maximus noticed through the system that an Undead King and 3 Undead Elites coming their way. Damn! It looks like it found us, Maximus cursed worriedly. The Undead King should have a bit of intelligence, Luna muttered while recovering her strength. While they were still away, Maximus hurriedly absorbed the Undead Crystal Cores that he had prepared. After a few minutes, the undead came in front of them. Ready? Maximus raised his hands, began overloading his soul, making the world seem to slow down. Ting! A high-pitched sound seemed to light up the world, momentarily stopping everything. Tong asterisk. With the following pitch, Luna, who was originally tired, seemed to be endowed with unlimited power.
Go!
Maximus commenced the play. These Tier 1 and 2 undead were resistant to sound attacks, so he could barely affect them. With a jerk, Luna lunged toward the undead like a fearless machine. Thump asterisk. Thud asterisk. Before they could react, a sound came making their movements pause for a moment. Maximus began to play a rapid tune of at least 100 keys a second, making his hands almost invisible. This rapid beat of keys, though inaudible to human ears, seemed like the most beautiful melody Luna had ever heard. Husband, you're truly amazing. This was Luna's last thought as she felt herself being consumed by the melody, every part of her cell operating like a machine. Witness the grand symphony of killing, Maximus thought. As Luna, 3 elites, and an undead king came face to face. Luna acted like a precise machine, slashing at the undead king. The undead king instinctively dodged, but in doing so, it was hindered by the undead elite beside him. Luna's machete sliced through the undead arm like a tomato, avoiding the undead king's bones and hard muscles. This enraged the undead king, but an annoying melody from hell was like a lullaby forcibly calming it down. Although the melody had almost no effect on the undead king, its subordinates were like marionettes at this moment, helping this despicable woman besiege it. After a few more clashes, another arm of the undead king was cut off. As for the undead elites, they were already dismembered by the zombie king himself, as Maximus used them as shields and distractions. Luna, on the other hand, was glowing red due to overload performing inhuman movements. Let's finish this play, Maximus thought. He who was conducting this play looked like a monster with his veins popping out all over his body, his eyes like those of a demon, pure red due to blood. Thud asterisk. Like a signal of death, Luna was like a nimble assassin who circled the undead king, attacking all its blind spots. A moment of carelessness, like a powerless puppet, was all it took for the undead king to be killed. As it tried hard to find the nimble Luna, it followed Maximus' rhythm, causing it to trip on its own. Slash asterisk. Before it completely fell, Luna took the chance to slash its neck multiple times. After severing the head of the undead king, Luna fell into a coma as the redness in her body began to recede. I think you should take a look at.
Huh.
Maximus also nearly fainted, but with sheer will, he held on. After all, it was still dangerous. After a struggle, he carried Luna's body through their hideout and fell asleep. In the 100,000th step, Maximus opened his eyes peacefully, getting used to the time difference in the trial. After all, it's almost the same as using the life points. After they killed the undead king, the hidden mission was to kill as many undead as possible in 3 years. Maximus took this time to train Luna and bond with her. Hey Maximus, Lilith said softly. She noticed that something seemed wrong with Maximus in the past couple of minutes. What? Maximus looked at Lilith, thinking of how to tease her. Lilith didn't finish her thought as Maximus pinched her cheeks again. Oh, Lilith was embarrassed and didn't bother anymore. After helping Luna finish her trial, the others followed suit. In Erica's trial, the mission was to escape waves of beast tides. Maximus only assisted a little, hoping to train Erica's independent thinking. With Erica's ingenuity, she easily passed the trial. Although not as perfectly as the previous two, as long as she could pass, it was good enough. In Hazel's trial, the mission was to survive on an island that is being attacked by beasts periodically, like an island-building trial. In this trial, Maximus didn't even show up, as he only assisted Hazel, making her seem like a child of destiny. For example, Hazel lacked a special treasure for defense, but after walking for a while like a protagonist, she could pick it up as easily as a stone on the road. This trial was like the illusion trial giving bad luck versus Maximus giving good luck. Hazel barely passed, with Maximus sending her treasures to survive. Livia's trial was also a survival island, but with 999 other participants killing each other. Initially, half could pass this trial, but the fewer people there were, the more blessings one would receive. Livia was very timid, so she dug an underground base and placed traps everywhere. Livia's activity traces were everywhere, and she was constantly being attacked. If it were not for Maximus hiding and helping erase the traces so that only one or two would find out, Livia would have long been eliminated. The trial ended 100 days later with 150 participants remaining. Angeline's trial was also a group trial with 1,000 participants in place. As more and more people took the 1,000th step trial, it seemed like the mode became competition type. Maximus could only hide behind the scenes, as although the system could hide his presence from the recording, the people taking the trial were exempted. The trial was a race toward the top of the floating islands. The first 300 to reach the top would pass the trial. On the way, there were countless beasts and traps that would slow them down. As he was hidden, Maximus could only assist Angeline by destroying the beasts and traps that she could encounter. As for the others behind her, she could only fight them by hand. The trial was difficult and Angeline nearly died during the chase. If it were not for Maximus placing traps in the places that Angeline walked through, it would have been over. Next was Rose's trial, with 1,000 people killing each other as in Livia's trial. Rose was stubborn. She came to know that competition trials had almost no punishment for failure. The veteran people on the 999th step were waiting for this mode to start. After all, even if they lost, they could still take the trial 10 years later without a problem. Knowing that there was no real danger, Rose fought others like crazy. This reckless action left Rose in a coma and on the verge of dying multiple times. Maximus could only assist by using the subtle sound of leaves to distract and make the opponents think that they had already killed Rose. All the people in the trial had similar strengths, so Maximus did it quickly without arousing suspicion. After all, those truly talented had already passed through the 1,000th trial. The ones left behind are those mediocre in strength. After Rose woke up from her coma, she was puzzled as to how she was still alive. Wonethnaless, after a bit of healing, she continued to fight. Maximus could only sigh and do his best. Finally, Rose passed the trial, while being in a coma, losing her arms, and bleeding all over her body. The last to take the trial was Irene. The trial this time was between two factions, Devil and Hunter. There were 100 devils and 900 hunters shuffled among them. The hunter's goal was to wipe out the devils, while the devil's goal was to kill at least 10 hunters. Irene was a devil, but with her strength, she had no way of killing 10 hunters without being discovered. Of course, with Maximus as her cheat, everything is possible. Irene's profession is herbalist, with Maximus throwing different rare herbs at random. Irene created a poisonous concoction that almost killed 100 people, including both hunter and devil. This action, however, exposed her and got her killed. Fortunately, Irene had already completed the mission, so she passed. Chapter 100 City of Arcana. In the 100,000th step. 5 days later, the last day of the trial arrived. All of his wives had already passed the 1,000th step and were only waiting for the end of the trial. Maximus became more leisurely as he talked to Lilith about what to do after the trial. "Hey, where will you live after the trial?" Maximus asked Lilith as he played with her hair. Lilith had already gotten used to Maximus's playfulness, so she just rolled her eyes. "My sister said to choose a place in the city of Arcana," Lilith said after some thinking.
Oh?
"It's said to be in the center of the origin domain, the most impenetrable city in the world," Maximus said, recalling some hearsay he had heard. "Yes, my sister said that it's very safe there. Even if the entire arcane continent gets destroyed, the city of Arcana will be scratch-free."
So awesome.
Maximus said, looking at her to explain more. "I don't know, it's what my sister said anyway," Lilith said. "Then let's see each other at the city of Arcana," Maximus said as he pinched her cheeks. After a few hours, the trial ended and they were expelled from the virtual world. In Silver City, at Maximus's rented manor. Maximus opened his eyes and looked at the others who were also slowly getting up. Before he could say anything, his personal token vibrated.
Congratulations on becoming an official student.
Credits, 1 million. 3 months before the official student trial.
Credits?
Maximus murmured, clicking on it. Credits are the official currency of the Origin Arcana Institute. 1 credit is equal to 1 high-grade magic crystal, which is equivalent to 10,000 low-grade magic crystals.
How is your trial?
Maximus asked to see if there is a difference from the notification he received. We got 10,000 credits, but we can only access the building and can't buy special resources.
Oh?
Fortunately, I'm already an official student. Although he still hadn't passed the official student trial, climbing up to 100,000 on his first try made him an exception and became an official student in advance. One of the privileges of being an official student is that you can use your credits to buy anything. A few days later, outside the city of Arcana.
Is this the center of the Origin domain?
Maximus said as he looked at the huge floating behemoth.
Wow.
They had just come out of the teleportation array, and seeing the city of Arcana for the first time was shocking. If Silverleaf City is still in the category of land, then the city of Arcana is entirely made of void gold metal. It is the hardest and most versatile metal in the world. Void gold metal is also 10 times more expensive than high-grade magic crystals of the same size. So making a floating behemoth at such a size is unimaginable. Inside the edge of the city, in one of the vacant lots.
Is this the place that you chose?
Erica asked as she looked at the piece of land, 1,000 square meters in area. Yes, the land in the city of Arcana is expensive. Just staying here costs 10,000 credits per year, Maximus said with heartache. You know the prices in the Origin domain are out of this world. He nearly went bankrupt just renting a place for a month. But using credits, you can get massive discounts that made it almost free. The place they stayed in Silver City only cost 100 credits per year, compared to 100 million per month when he used magic crystal.
Let's go in, Maximus said as he manipulated the array for them to enter. It's bigger inside, they exclaimed.
The place was 100 times bigger inside. It looks like they use space wrap array, Maximus said.
But how do we live here?
Looking at the wasteland without any building in front, they couldn't help but question.
I nearly forgot.
Maximus then took out the token as he gathered his wives and children to choose a design.
Come here, help me choose a design.
There were multiple options for designs as the whole city is made of aggregate materials. Molding buildings and landscapes is as easy as waving your hands.
I want this one.
They chose the design for their own room, leisure room, functional room, beast pet stables, garden design. After a few hours of non-stop chatter, Maximus clicked enter. Like a miracle, the dust-like particles gathered together, forming different materials and plants. So beautiful, they murmured as they looked at the fairy-like atmosphere. At the dinner table that night.
How about we tour around the city tomorrow?
Maximus said. All right, we also plan to go to the Celestial Ascent path to train, Erica said. They didn't want to get further and further away from their husband, so they needed to train rigorously.
Do you want to come?
Maximus looked at his children and teased them.
Yes.
The next day, at the bay of the elemental pool, I think you should take a look at.
Wow, so sparkling.
Lila said as she looked at the colorful pool. This should be the elemental pool, one of the wonders of the Origin domain. Maximus said as he browsed through his personal token using official student privileges.
Elemental pool?
They asked. Initially, Tier 9 mana environment is already the limit that mana concentration can achieve. However, elemental pool is a concentration of different elemental mana, making its grade higher than pure mana. Like the one in front, it's the light elemental pool.
Oh, how about we take a dip?
Max asked, eager to bathe in such a pool.
Then let's see if we can get in.
Maximus took them towards the reception.
How do we get into one of the elemental pools?
Maximus asked as he presented his token. The steward quickly took a look. Seeing that Maximus is an official student, he became more respectful. As an official student, you only need to pay 1 credit per day. For seekers, it's 10 credits per day, and for outsiders, it's originally prohibited, the steward said knowingly as he saw that there are kids. But official students have special privileges to invite family members. This costs 1,000 credits per individual. the steward said. Good, just deduct the credits for all of us, Maximus said. Maximus was already used to being extravagant, so he wasn't daunted by the price, even knowing that credits are hard to get. In the Chaos Elemental Pool. The Chaos Elemental Pool is the center of the Elemental Pool.
Huh.
Maximus was submerged in the pool, breathing peacefully. The scene was relaxing and bathing in the Elemental Pool was such an experience. Maximus looked at his children as they swam and played.
Come chase me.
Max schwamm fast.
Wait for us, brother Max.
San and Luke hurriedly chased after him.
Don't run too far,
Liam said, sounding like an old grandma while taking care of baby Neo.
Invisible,
Nathan murmured as he slowly submerged. Sister, hold me, I want to be a mermaid, Lila urged Lily.
No, you look like a duck,
Lily disagreed and floated away. Be a good girl, Serene and Syra, Lydia said as she petted the two babies.
Bà, thấy rất buồn đẻ.
So relaxing, Angeline said, submerging her whole body. Do you miss people in Sunburnt Plateau? Isabella said, joining them. Not much, as long as I'm with my husband, everything is home, Irene said, looking at Maximus, who had his eyes closed. Now that we're here, we should take this time to become stronger, Rose said seriously. A day later. How time has passed, Maximus murmured as he saw his token blinking, telling them that they only had half an hour left in the elemental pool. They had unknowingly spent a whole day in the pool. Fortunately, it's not like water. The elemental pool is made of elemental mana, which can improve your elemental affinity. Even though his children were in it for a whole day, they were still energetic, as if they had taken a tonic.
Let's go.
In the Arcana library. This is the collection of all the known knowledge that flows throughout the whole Ethereum realm. It only has 10 floors, but its height and width are immeasurable to the naked eye. After registering, using his official student status, he paid some credits and got in with everyone. So many books, Liam said in marvel. Boring, Max only sighed. Go to the entertainment section if you want to play, Maximus said dotingly. The books in the entertainment section were not only made of words but also contained images and videos. Let's split up, we'll meet here in a day. Maximus headed to the cultivation manual section. Lately, he felt the weakness of his cultivation manual. Whether it was the divine consciousness or the divine body, after he reached the Tier 3 realm, his progress slowed down. He thought that it was only due to his poor aptitude and not enough mastery of the cultivation technique. But even after spending life points to upgrade his mastery to transcendent and using potential points to make his talent reach rank 6 divine, progress was still slow. However, with transcendent mastery through the technique, he still got some clue. The cultivation manual that he bought was not in tune with the Ethereum realm. The higher the realm, the slower the speed of his cultivation would be. Looking at his system panel, he could only sigh at his slow progress. Maximus Shadowcrest. Soul, Tier 3 Nascent Mage, Level 4. Body, Tier 4 Sky Knight, Level 1.
Mana Amplitude, 187.
Will 275.